Good morning, everyone. Not sure whether you have time for some reflection with the two questions there. Yeah. So just now, Wen-Xin was saying that I'm also a caregiver myself. Yeah. So can I have a show of hands, right? Who are either past caregivers or those who are still currently caring for someone? Yeah. Can I have a show of hands? Okay, thank you. Yeah. So I know I know who are among us this morning. And I can presume that rest of you who didn't raise your hand, you are interested, okay? Yeah, interested to find out more. Or you may be someone who is ministering or know someone who is a caregiver. Yeah, and you may want to have more ideas on how to support the person, or just you are just curious, wanting to know. Okay. So I was saying that I'm also a caregiver. My dad passed on late last year. Yeah, went to be with the Lord, and then now I'm currently being a caregiver to my mom. I would say I'm a secondary caregiver because she stays with my brother and his family. So she's taken care of by my sister-in-law and the helper in their house. Yeah. So my mom, she has advanced dementia and also dysphagia, which is the weakening of the swallowing muscle. So there's difficulty in swallowing, and that gives rise to risk of like things like lung infection. Okay. Yeah. And so I would visit my mom. I try to at least visit her once or twice every week. Yeah, and roughly, right, every visit I will try, I will aim to complete the list if possible. Yeah, so I will try to help her do exercise for her throat. Remember, she has weak swallowing muscle, right? Yeah, so the ST, the speech therapist, shared with me what are some of the exercise to strengthen the throat. And I'll also do exercise for her hand and legs. I also massage her with essential oil, rub on her acupoint. I also check on her skin whether is there any like breakage, is it dry, and I will of course ask her, how are you? Yeah, so nothing beats asking patient, not patient, sorry, work hazard, asking the person, how are you? Yeah. So also I will also ask the helper, how is my mom? Okay, did she poo? Because for elderly, it's very crucial for them to detox. Yeah. So how was her sleep? Did she eat drink enough milk? Okay, because my mom because of her swallowing issue, right? So she's on milk feed lah. Yeah. So I will also help to rinse her teeth because the helper is also very busy taking care of her and the rest of the family. So whatever I can do, I will do. Yeah, keep her teeth as hygienic as possible, and I will try to apply facial product on her face, make her look good and happy. Yeah, and also I will try to let her taste her food that she likes and she can eat. Okay, which is limited lah. I will try to think of games to play with her. Okay, to keep her psychomotor skills active and to keep her mentally active and also to keep her happy. Yeah. And I will also look at the environment in her room, okay? Anything to stimulate her and make her happy, okay? So I will hang things on her wall, try to hang a calendar, try to hang, we made a lantern together during the Mooncake Festival. So we hang the lantern, okay? So she'll remember the time and something that is bright and colorful to stimulate her senses. I will also try to orientate her to the time of the year. Okay, mommy, do you know what month is this month? Okay, most of the time she wouldn't know, but never mind. So the important thing is that I'll tell her, this is the month, the lunar month of the Mooncake Festival, So there's mooncake, there's lanterns, all that. Then make lanterns with her. Yeah, and I also try to arrange for visits because the social part, right, is most of the time easily forgotten. Okay, try whoever can visit her. And also I will tell her, who asked about you, how you are. Someone WhatsApp me to ask you how you are. And I also try to bring her out. And I know that she likes flowers. So I will show her the flower. What color? Very nice, God creation. Yeah, cheer her up. Then I also get her to join birthday celebrations because she can only drink milk. So maybe my family members feel very awkward. We eat all the delicacies, then she look at us and lao nua, no? But I still feel that there is a need to include her, to make her feel included, the psychological part of it. So after we finish the food, so I will just push her geriatric chair to the dining table, then to talk with the family members. Yeah. And also I will get her to pray for me and people. Yeah. So, Mommy, I've got lots of work this week. Please pray for me. Yeah, then I share with her, Mommy, God answered your prayer, no? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sharing these various things that I do also as ideas. Some of you may also be doing these things as well. Yeah, so bear in mind some of these things that were shared later. We will look at holistic care for the patient. All right, so today you may be wondering, right? So what's up? Today we'll be talking about why self-care. And then we'll be looking at the different types of caregiver, followed by how to get down to doing it, and also how as a church community we can care for our caregivers. And lastly, we'll be sharing our resources for caregivers. Firstly, we want to look at the challenges that caregivers are likely to face. We know that there are many assistance and social services available, but many a times how much is being connected with the caregivers, right, depends on the provider's knowledge and experiences. So it depends on how much your social worker may know and introduce to you the kind of services. And of course, it also depends on the financial health of the caregivers. Because some of these services are paid services. Yeah, so whether all of us are able to pay for that. Okay, so in the event if they are poorly linked with such services, then they may feel very isolated. Yeah, no help, not linked to help. And sometimes this is due to a lack of coordination between the different service providers and the institution, like polyclinic hospitals GP and also many a times the caregivers, they are also in constant survival mode especially caregivers for those family members with, let's say, mental health condition, or sometimes they have multiple health issues. So when they have suddenly have fever or shortness of breath, all this can be causing quite a lot of anxiety for the caregivers. Yeah. So these caregivers, they are constantly watching out and responding to crises, whether it's behavioral crises or whether it's health crises. And sometimes they do not have the capacity or capability to stop and think of how to best improve their situation because they are swamped with crises. And for the caregivers, many a times, right, they have very few chance or no respite at all, from their caregiving tasks. Many a times they want to take breaks from their daily psychological and physical stress, but they are unable to because they cannot find suitable avenues. Or sometimes, like, caregivers are unaware that they need to take care of themselves because their mind is occupied with the needs of their loved ones. Yeah. Here I wrote about like frustration, anticipatory grief, right? Some of the caregivers of patients who have advanced in their sickness, and especially those in palliative stage, right? The caregivers, sometimes they don't even know that they are having this anticipatory grief. As they see their loved ones decline and possibly even become very frail and even nearing the end of their life, sometimes they have this anticipatory grief that they are not even aware of, which is a stressor to the emotional health as well. And for caregivers, many a times the patient's condition also redefine family relationships, because the family need to rally around the patient and continuously adapt and share their roles and responsibility. We know that a patient, right, trajectory, yeah, the path of their sickness, right, always lead to different stages. Yeah, they may be well and mobile when they are better, yeah, but then maybe after a fall, hospitalization, they come up different. So there's another stage. So that's why the family needs to adapt, yeah, their routine, the way, the intensity of caregiving. And many a times they struggle to talk openly and safely with each other about caregiving issues. Yeah, I know someone who says that she doesn't share her emotional struggles with her siblings because she doesn't want to tie them down. Yeah, and for me, I was saying that I'm a secondary caregiver, so my sister-in-law is the main decision maker because she works from home. Yeah, so because of different perspective of how my mom should be treated, because of different beliefs in like TCM or Western medication. No, so sometimes we cannot really see eye to eye. Yeah, so coordinating with her is a issue that I need to constantly think about. Yeah, and sometimes when it comes to main decision, I have to think and pray before I have the courage to really propose something. Yeah, but ready to be knocked down by her lah, because she's a decision maker. She's a main decision maker. Yeah, things like that lah. So this struggle is can be very real to us who have multiple caregivers and multiple family members, especially when the family is big. Yeah, and then some are living overseas. So those staying locally who are here locally may say that, no, what do you know about mother? No, you are overseas all these years. So do you know how she's like daily? What you say is very easy, but then do you even think that it is practical? No, your suggestion. Yeah. Another challenge will be that the caregivers, they are challenged to plan transitions in life stage. Why? Because they do not know how to plan in view of the patient's condition. Yeah. Because you may have plans, but many a times we hold them quite loosely. Like for example, sometimes me and my husband, we plan for short trips. But if we hear that, we receive a phone call that mom is hospitalized, then of course we need to shelve our plans lah. Yeah. In fact, my mom was just hospitalized Tuesday for lung infection and UTI, urinary tract infection. Okay. Yeah. So as a result, the caregivers, they are unable to trust in any plans. Yep. And the caregivers, many of them, they lack awareness, skills, and resources. And often the lack of the above will cause them to be lack of confidence. Yeah, and conversely, right, if they are able to accumulate skills and resources, this can help them to become a better long-term caregiver. Another challenge that caregivers face will be the difficulty to look at caregiving journey as positive and manageable. Yeah, and I faced this challenge myself lah, because looking at this year alone, I think my mom was hospitalized for a good at least 5 or 6 times. Yeah, so it's like, oh. Yeah, so given the countless negative experiences, it is challenging to look at caregiving as positive and manageable. Yeah, but it is not impossible. Yeah. And caregivers, many a times they prefer to shoulder their burdens alone. Yeah, because this seems to get things done faster and easier. Okay, they will think that I know this thing so well, I might as well do it on my own, right? To have me brief you the details on how to carry out on mother or father, I might as well get it done my own, right? And I still need to monitor whether that you do it right. So I might as well do it on my own. Yeah, so the above challenges faced by caregivers, right? Some of it may be echoing what some of you have heard or have experienced like in your caregiving journey. Yeah, so I've here a video. Okay, let's hear from the caregiver and try to imagine her struggles and the emotions.
I ask myself repeatedly, am I a daughter to my papa or should I be a nurse to my papa? My name is Krista. I'm the caregiver. I'm also a community nurse. When I was 13 years old, we were told that my father has stage 3 rectal sigmoid cancer. When I asked him how you feel, he was still put in a very brave front to tell me, don't worry, Cha, I can make it. We can make it together. But unfortunately, he has another relapse. His cancer spread to the lung. So my mom, she actually go to find a job and immediately work as a night shift, permanent night shift production worker and has to handle big machinery. One of these fine days, we received a phone call from her boss. Her finger is being crushed by the machine. So she stopped working after that. And very soon, my mom actually go into stroke. My mom in total have 4 rounds of stroke. She was homebound for 10 years. So I take up odd job at a young age. Why I joined nursing and I know I want to go into community is actually start from my own personal experience, encounter since I'm 13 years old when I'm a caregiver. 2017 October, my father, he was diagnosed of both esophagus and gastric cancer. My papa is a foodie. He loves food. Sometimes they just casually say, you are a nurse, you should know that he cannot take this kind of food. I was in a stage of confusion. I asked myself repeatedly, am I a daughter to my papa or should I be a nurse to my papa? So I start to feel my stress level very high. When I'm working in the hospital, similarly, the stress level also very high because I'm working full time and I have to care not only my papa, but also I have to reassure my mommy. I suffer burnout in 2018. I actually learned a lot of self-care tips from the AIC platform, shared by different caregivers going through taking care of their loved ones in different parts of their life. And it also made me realize that the importance of self-care. If I know AIC earlier, compared to that time I don't even know AIC, I think I will not be so alone. At least the journey, there is somebody to discuss with, there is somebody that I can get the resources from. We caregivers always have a guilt feeling towards our loved one. But we must also remind ourselves we are not perfect either. We have to take care of our own self, our own mental health, our own emotional, and our own physical health to recharge in order to continue to walk down the journey with your loved one.
Yeah, okay. Not sure how many of you can also identify with her thoughts and her emotions. Yeah, for myself, I definitely can identify in the area of having high expectation of myself because she say that, oh, am I a nurse to my papa or am I a daughter to my papa? Yeah, so similarly, because I'm a social worker, right? So I have expectation of myself that, oh, I should know what is the psychological or even the physical and the recreational, social, spiritual needs of my mother and father. Yeah, so I should be meeting them. Yeah, but I come to a point whereby I realize that it is different. Yeah, it is different. Although with whatever that I've knowledge that I've accumulated in my profession, I can use it to care for my parents. But it is different, and I shouldn't have that too high an expectation from myself. Yeah, because after all, it is really different. Yeah. Yeah. So some of the emotions, right, of caregiving. Yeah. Some of them will be one, fear, right? Like just now I was saying, I was asking, after my mom gets home, will she be hospitalized again? What happened if she had repeated infection? Will it lead to sepsis, which is a life-threatening situation? Okay, if a person goes through multiple sepsis and the body, in that sense, comes to a state whereby even antibiotics if, sometimes medication does have a, not sometimes, medication have their limitation, right? So after repeated infection, when my mom landed up in this sepsis whereby even antibiotics cannot help, yeah, so there's this fear. Yeah, and sometimes there's also fear, especially when we are thrust into this caregiving role. Suddenly, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether I can care adequately for my loved ones or not. Yeah, so here, right, there's a caregiver wife whose husband has front temporal dementia, something that's happening to the front temporal part of the brain. Yeah, so the husband has behavioral issues and sometimes may turn violent. Yeah, so she's always in a survival mode, in a prepared mode, okay, to respond to crisis. So she packed up a bag ready to run away and move out of the house if he turns violent. Yeah, and another very common emotions will be isolated. Okay, I remember recently having the thought. I was telling myself that, wow, nobody can understand how I feel. Yeah, so many caregivers here, or you've heard your friends who are caregiving, they may also express this emotion. Yeah, they feel in that sense very alone because no one is exactly in the same situation as them. Yeah, so this mother with a son who has this distal atrophy, it is condition whereby the body is very stiff and the muscles are very weak. Yeah, so she said that the first time she stepped into this setting with other disabled children, she thought that, it is okay after all. Okay, and when she see how the teacher treat the children with disability, she is really very glad. And for once, she felt that she had friends, people just like her, okay, in the same situation. And the next emotions will be loss, okay? Really, especially when it comes to medical terms, because unless you have a doctor in the family or you yourself are a doctor, especially for a medical crisis, when the patient has symptoms, sometimes you don't know what to do. Yeah, and for this person, husband of a wife who has depression, he's very lost, okay, where to search for the services. She didn't know which department to approach, very lost. Okay, the next very common feeling will be tired. Okay, so tired in the sense of physical and also psychological tiredness or emotional tiredness as well. Okay, having to go through, the up and down, of being worried, then after that, hospitalized again, you worried again. Yeah, so this caregiver, he injured his foot when he fainted while drying clothes. So he himself fainted. Okay, he is caring for a wife who is suffering from heart and kidney problems. So with his injured foot, he said he was at the hospital only for a day. He couldn't stay longer. Why? Because then who will check on his wife? So he is so tired caring for his wife that he doesn't even have time for operation to care for his medical needs. Yeah, another common emotions will be trust. Trust as in we want to trust our loved ones and our family members that they are able to share in our responsibility. Yeah. So this person, she said that her sisters and her went through a lot of heartache, anger with each other. Okay, yeah, you went through the worst and then it got better. So when they are able to co-share the responsibility, cooperation, okay, the teamwork becomes more pleasant and bearable. Very often, caregivers, they also hold on to a hope. Yeah? This person, mother of a son who has epilepsy and ADHD, she said that she will take one day at a time, and she began to research and read a lot about ADHD to know what is happening to her son. Yeah. So she said she left it to God, and she will continue to pray for her son. Okay. Another one will be compassion. This person, okay, we call him a self-caregiver. Okay, he's living alone, so he doesn't have a caregiver. So he's a self-caregiver whose body is paralyzed, waist down. And so he said that even volunteers, they can't solve problems for him, right? Because they can't live with him and follow him all around. And he feel like he need to repay their favor. And he said that it will lengthen his time on earth because he believed that a person can only leave the earth after returning the favors. Yeah, so although there is compassion for others, people feel sympathy towards the person, but he also has a level of pride that he wants to maintain. Yeah. Okay, we have shared about the challenges that caregivers have gone through, right? So hearing such a myriad of challenges, therefore it is very important to self-care, okay, for the caregivers. Yeah, so the picture of the oxygen dropping down, right, in the airplane, I think many of you know about this experience. So when the person behind the mic says that when the oxygen drops down, then what happens if you have a child beside you? What do? Who do you attend to first? Please attend to yourself first. And we know the reason behind, right? Because if the adult faint first, then who is going to even put the oxygen over the child? So you must take care of yourself first. Yeah? Not because you're selfish, but because you love your loved ones and want to also care for them. And we hear this thing very often that we cannot give what we don't have, right? Yeah. If we don't have oxygen, how can we help to put on the oxygen to give the child oxygen? If we don't have even this joy, if you want to bring joy to the patient, how can we bring joy to the patient when we ourselves, like always 苦瓜脸 and don't have capacity to share joy or give joy? Yeah. So self-care is not only important, it is essential. Okay, we'll next go on to talk about caregivers typology. Okay, yeah. The yellow color, right, has no, in a sense, no meaning lah. Okay, yeah, it's just to brighten and brighten the whole picture. Okay, so you can see that there are two axes. Right, the vertical axis, right, talks about the identity of the person. Okay, on the high side will be that the person looks at himself or herself as a caregiver. Primarily, okay, the main identity is a caregiver. The identity cannot be separated from the caregiving role. And at the low part of the axis, right, the person doesn't see himself or herself as a caregiver, right? Okay, so for the horizontal axis on the left side, the person is not equipped for caregiving, and on the right side, the person is well equipped. All right. So you can see, not too sure whether the words are big enough. Okay, you can see there is the self-reliant caregiver, balanced caregiver, conscious caregiver, detached caregiver, and a reactive caregiver. Let's look at each of them. By the way, if you are thinking about the slides, right, do not worry too much because it will be emailed to you. Okay, let's look at the first one, the reactive caregiver. So the attitude is feeling helpless. Okay, very kanchong lah, kanchong spider. Okay, so the characteristics, right, will be that very often the caregiver is even unable to take care of his own needs and will put the needs of their care recipients in front and center in their own lives. Okay, and most of the time they do not positively embrace their role and identity as a caregiver, and they have high risk of burning out or becoming a care receiver lah. Yeah, so another thing will be that if we don't take care of ourselves, then end up people would have to take care of us lah. Yeah. And also that usually they suddenly thrust into a role as caregiver. Yeah, so they are not prepared. They have little knowledge and skills. They are not equipped with the strategies. Yeah, so that's why they are anxious and stressed all the time. Okay, the balanced caregiver, the main attitude is that the person is able to see the good in everything. And characteristics will be that the person is able to balance the identity as a person and also as a caregiver. Should the person sees himself or herself first as a person, then caregiver is a role, it's one of the roles. And also the person can attend to each set of needs and roles seamlessly. All of the roles as a mother, role as a caregiver, role as a wife, role as a worker. Yeah. And the person is not only able to accept caregiving, but embraces all experience as a catalyst for personal growth. Yeah. The person is able to balance current needs and plans for what might come in future. So the person is able to not be clouded out with the current needs at hand, but the person is able to take a step backwards and think of a future, plan for future. Yeah, and the person has developed a trustworthy network of support for caregiving. And when there's a need, they will activate the network, okay, to provide like holistic care and continuous care. Yeah, if the person needs to go for a short trip, yeah, so the person can activate the support. And the caregiver put in place strategies to minimize uncertainty. Yeah, you see the person is able to plan, yeah, and not just react. Okay, the next type, self-reliant caregiver. Main attitude is the person is able to tolerate and be comfortable. So the characteristics will be the person tend to micromanage care recipients' needs. Okay, very detailed. Okay, and want to be in control and unable to seek more time to balance and attend to their own needs. Okay, yeah, I have a caregiver. Although she has children in the house, but she seems to do everything on her own, and she gets herself like very occupied and very stressed, such that she has backache, but she couldn't attend to eat very much. Yeah, so this person take on the role of caregiver so much that the role has taken over their personal identity, and which will lead to self-neglect. Yeah, and many times when the person pass on, this identity loss will jerk them a bit. Yeah, because that suddenly there's no reason for my existence because I exist to care. Yeah. So this type of caregiver tend to focus on the present. Yeah, that they feel to pick up more efficient and balanced ways of doing things in the future. Yeah. So they focus on the needs and they do not really have time to think of, oh, is there a better way to like delegate the job and maybe I should plan ahead. Yeah, and this person have the motivation and skills to seek help, but may perceive that everything is taken care of and that no improvement is needed. Yeah. Okay, the next type, the conscious caregiver who aspires to be better. The characteristics will be this person is able to adapt to the caregiving role if personal plans are disrupted, and they're conscious of importance of attending to their own needs. Yeah. They know that in order to sustain the caregiving, they also need to meet their own needs. So they're able to shift between the needs of the caregiver of themselves and the care recipient. But the person may struggle with sharing caregiving within their families, and they have trouble navigating the social care system because they are they are new, they are not so skilled yet. Okay, they're conscious about the future and they have intention to improve, okay, to plan for the future. And the last one, the detached caregiver. So they are passive and they're attached from caregiving. They lack awareness that care needs to be provided. Yeah, they are not hands-on. They are quite far away. They are not involved with their care recipients' day-to-day activities. Maybe they just delegate leave the job to the helper. Yeah, and could be due to their denial of their loved one's condition or their difficulty to comprehend. Okay, what it means to leave someone with special needs. They are not able to understand or perceive the care recipient's needs. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. And they're quite rooted, they are quite fixated, okay, with certain things. Yeah, and they leave the future out of hands. They don't plan, and they may think that even a higher, they leave it to sort of fate. And sometimes they are not able to articulate their problems to others. Either they don't know what is the issue or they cannot express it. Yeah. So having gone through these four, right, now we want to have some self-reflection to see where we incline towards, okay? Yeah. So these are some examples. I don't know whether you can see from behind. So this is a caregiver's reflection. This is another caregiver's reflection. Can you all see, especially the last one? Sabrina, can you see? Technology. Take picture and enlarge, okay. Yeah, so can we take about 5 to 10 minutes, right? Can we just have some reflection, which type of caregiver we may tend to swing towards, yeah? Okay, and the most important thing, right, if you see this sheet of reflection paper will be that, oh, how can I change or improve my caregiving style? Okay, what is most important is not really where we are now, okay, though it helps, but at the end of the day, we want to go off by saying that, okay, so what are some of the adjustments that I want to make? If you do not have a care recipient, right, you can think in the shoes of a person who is a caregiver. Let's say you have a close friend or you have a CG member who cares for the father or mother, you can think in his or her shoes. Can we be writing on the A4 paper? Right. So you spend 5 to 10 minutes doing that. So just to recap on the caregiver typology, right? Yeah, just to remind that the main point is not really to only identify which type we tend to veer towards, okay? But most important thing is from okay, today's talk, right? Okay, so where do we want to move towards? What do I want to adjust myself in? Because so that I can be a better caregiver, okay? Far away from burnout, yeah? Having the right identity and also wanting to be equipped, yeah. Okay, so what do I want to do next? All right. Next, right, we want to go right into talking about self-care. Yeah, so this, right, like model is called the Virginia Satir's Mandela of self-care lah. Yeah, okay, so as you can see, it is a pie with 8 pieces, like a pizza with 8 pieces. Yeah, so we will go into each of the sphere, the domains. Okay, I hope you can see. If you cannot see, then again, use technology, okay? Take photo and enlarge it. If not, then you can still come up and take photo. If not, the slides will be sent to you, okay? Not to worry. Okay. So we are saying that in the synopsis, right, that we do not only want to care for the physical domain of the patient, which is important, but God made us such that we have other domains as well. So like the verse that says that, hope your body, spirit, and soul be kept well. Yeah, so there are other spheres that we have as a person. Now, the first one will be the intellect, okay? It is important to stimulate our mind and the mind of the patient and engage the mind, you know? If not, especially those with dementia, it will decline, yeah, if it is not engaged from time to time. Yeah, so do we sometimes do readings, play mind-stimulating games? No, do we reflect, spend time to reflect? Do we sometimes learn new things? Yep. And then interaction-wise, will be the social part of ourselves, right? Which is very important because God has made us to be community people, right? So do we find time to set aside time to mix with our friends and our families? Do we have social networks, a group of people that we constantly go back to? And third one will be emotions, right? So how are our emotions, especially when we are alone? What are our genuine emotions? Here it says sometimes like you can watch movies, funny ones to entertain ourselves, or sad ones where we can also identify and which can also evoke emotions that may otherwise be like hidden or embedded in ourselves. Okay, or sometimes art therapy can also bring up some emotions. Yeah, are we involved in some of these things? Nutrition is very important as well. Yep. As in, are we having the right nutrition? Yeah, that is essential for our health. Sensual. Okay, the next one, sensual. So God made us also with the 5 senses. Yeah. So senses can also give us pleasure, right? Like we like to see beautiful things. We go out, look at flowers. We go for drama. Okay, or play music. Okay, or massage. Yep. And spiritual need as well. That of course for us who are Christians, how is our spiritual well-being today? Yeah. And here it says that not necessarily religious. Yeah, so for caregivers who do not have a faith, we would encourage them to also like think of the meaning of life. They can think of the meaning of caregiving. Yeah. So do we set aside time to meditate, to reflect on the feeling of the meaning of life? Yeah. And physical, the one most of the time is our focus, right? Yeah. So how are we physically? Okay. Are we functional? How is our health? Are we able to sleep well? Do we have insomnia? Are we exercising? Do we have enough rest throughout the week? Yeah, physical. And the last one will be contextual. So our environment. Yeah, so our environment does have an impact on us. Imagine if a person's house is really cluttered and so not only is it unhealthy, unhygienic, and then maybe there is dust, that will trigger some allergic reaction, but also the site of the environment does affect us, our well-being as well. Yeah, so how is our environment that we live in? Do we clean them? Or sometimes, you will hear things like, a change of environment, go out of the house. Or sometimes some people like to change room from this room if they have many room lah. Then yeah. So it's like change of environment. Yeah. Or buy some plants, decorate all that. Yeah. So in fact, I say here, right, it can be applied to care receiver as well. Yeah, so because today we are talking about self-care for caregiver, so which is often neglected. Yeah, so remember just now we were saying that we can't give what we don't have. So if we want to take good care of others, we must really know how to take good care of ourselves. Yeah, so but the extra that you take back will be that actually hint is that these 8 domains of course can be applied to anyone and especially care receiver as well lah. So in the beginning I was sharing that I will like look at my mom's room and see whether like stimulating or it's like very plain, very dull, you know? So okay, I will hang things there, things like that. So that is the contextual. Yeah, so the sensual, I will try to give her the things that she like to eat, things like that. So you can also, if you are a caregiver, you can also go home and plan for your care recipient. Know how to also increase their rating, for this various domain. So now we will really allocate some time for our self-rating. So on your A4 size, right, can you write down these 8 domains and can you begin to rate yourself? The rating here is 1 to 5 lah. If for some reason you like 1 to 10, okay lah, you also write 1 to 10. Okay, up to you. So you rate yourself. Okay. And again, the main purpose is not to see, I so lousy, like very low. But from today, like decide within yourself, which will be the skill that I want to move up. Okay. Yeah, and to start making practical plans. Okay. Yeah, if my social life is not existent, okay, so I want to do something, right? Okay, so we'll spend about 10 minutes doing that. 5-10 minutes. Okay, I see you all sharing with your friends beside. So I thought that can we have someone who doesn't mind sharing like what are some things that you want to start like doing or change? Like maybe you want to start to cut down on snacks, or you want to, So can we have someone who is okay to share? If not, then I will call upon the people that I know. Sorry. Oh, thanks so much, Gerald. Okay, so one thing for those who have dementia, right? So because they can remember older things better, right? So I put those kind of old style calendar where you need to tear every day, those kind. Yeah, thanks. And thanks for the important point about like you also want to when your mom look at you, she know that like you're okay, you're not depressed, because some patients, they will feel that they are a burden, right? If they see that like always like we have a like so stressed and kukuali and all that. So so really caregivers, we do have impact on the patient. So we must really take enough care of ourselves. Thank you so much. We have another one. So I hope it's a good exercise for us to like do some health check. We go for annual health check also. So this one is a more comprehensive one. Yeah. Okay, and like what was said, right, we can also apply on anyone that we care for, especially the care recipient also. Okay, so the next one that we want to go on to will be how the church can support. So some of you here, currently you do not have any care recipient, that you're caring for, but you may be here because you want to like support the caregivers in your CG or whom you know or who is a good friend to you. Yeah, so I wrote down here, right, from my own experience and also hearing people around me. Being a good listener is important because many a times caregiving is emotionally laden, right? Because most of the time we care for our loved ones, right? It's not as if it's a work, but we care for our loved ones. That's why I always think that caregiving can be very emotionally laden, yeah. So there's a lot of emotions here. So it would be good if we can offer them a good listening ear. Yeah, and sometimes they may not want to tell you that they have something to tell you, but it's good to even ask them. Yeah, ask them how are they, and also it's important to ask them what kind of support they need because every caregiver is different, right? Some people will appreciate really practical help, but some people, for some reason, they think that a good listening ear is good enough for them. So ask them what they need, and be understanding when they account that they cannot turn up for something. Yeah. I know of someone who has cancer, so she told her CG leader that after the COVID, that she still want to meet online. Yeah, but the CG leader was saying that enough is enough. She want to insist on face-to-face CG because she felt that will really be really very good for them in terms to build the emotional ties and also for spiritual wise the sharing. It's more, it's better. Yeah. So this person was suggesting for like alternate but the CG leader said that no, she just insists on the face-to-face. Yeah. And in the end, this person is, from what I know, is quite devastated because she felt that the CG leader is not flexible. And when she said that, then do you have any other suggestion for me if I cannot join this CG? And then the CG leader said that it is not my responsibility to show you where else you can go. Yeah, so she was quite devastated the person. So we need to also be sensitive and careful the way that we interact with them. And also that some people may want us to visit their family members, so to check with them whether they are comfortable with this, and also to meet the caregiver's physical and psychological needs. I don't know, maybe sometimes running some errand for them, sometimes during take note of their birthdays, for example. Yeah, and these papers that I collected, right? Wow, you got really very good suggestion. I'll just read very quickly. Especially for those of you who are CG leaders or who care for caregivers, you can pick on such ideas. So it's very important to pray for them. Maybe you want to pray for the caregivers regularly. And also some of y'all were talking about setting up visitation team. And also caregiver support group. Some of you suggested very practical means visiting the homebound caregiver who cannot go out, and sometimes helping run errands, meet up with them to ask how they are, and financial support where applicable. And to have such related talks to educate or the caregivers on sickness, how to prevent falls, things like that. Yeah. And then there's a person who says that for the church hardware part and the software part, I think this one should be a guy to have organized facilities and organizational structure within the church to to have system protocol and SOP to support. Oh, this one must be a guide, okay? And the software will be to have teams, support group, training, counseling, yeah, okay? Yeah, some of this really very good, okay? Yeah, so you all have give suggestion about practical support and also emotional support, okay? Very good. Yeah, don't worry, I'll leave the papers here because some of you, you all may want to pick up at the end. Yeah. So that's with how the church can support. Yeah. So yeah, we want to be very real and relevant support to our members who are caregivers because it's really very hard to walk alone. The next part. Okay, not to worry if you cannot see, quite small. This will be in the slides which will be sent to you. So just want to run through some of these resources for caregivers. Just now we talked about that. It's very important, right, for caregivers to know the resources. Sometimes the resources are informal, like friends, neighbors, colleagues, relatives, all that. But sometimes the resources are also like from formal social support. Okay, so there are three types, namely, one will be center-based, where the patient goes to the center, and then another category will be home-based, okay, where the resources come to the home, and the third one will be institution, right? Okay, so the first one will be places like active aging centers, if the elderly still can walk to the centers, okay? This is on a voluntary basis. You don't have to go every day, but as and when you feel like going, okay, it's near your neighborhood. So the patient or the elderly person can just go and mix around and have activities. And the second one will be senior care center. So this one is as good as child care. So it's like elder care, yeah, where they go for many hours during the day and go home. Dementia daycare for those who have dementia. Okay, then the second category will be the home care. Okay, so like what I said, the services will be brought to the homebound patients. Like so the doctors will go to the house, nurses, the therapists, and this category called home personal care. Okay, this one is not very well known, so just run you through. So the care professional of the home personal care, HPC, will go to the house to do things, to help with the activities of daily living, okay, of the patient, like oral feeding, okay, personal hygiene like bathing and change diapers, simple household chore like laundry, and conduct mind-stimulating activities for the patient, and simple maintenance exercise that is designed by the therapies, and also like elderly sitting, okay, if the caregiver needs to go out, okay, maybe 1 hour, yeah, so this care professional can come in to relieve, to give respite care to the caregivers. Yeah, don't know whether, have you all heard about this service, HPC, Home Personal Care? Also, yeah, this may come in useful. And then 2B, right, will be the medical escort and transport, okay, where the caregivers, they are also holding a full-time job, or perhaps they need this service for the staff to escort the patient and transport the patient to the polyclinic or hospitals for their appointments. Meals on Wheels is especially for those who live alone, yeah, or for some reason it's not convenient for them to go out the house and buy meals. And the third one will be institution, where the patient stays in a nursing home, whether short term for respite or in the long term. Okay, there's also the service whereby some patients, they have sleep-wake reversal. So daytime they are not occupied, so they will sleep many hours, and at night they cannot sleep, so there may be some behavioral issues. So over a long term, it takes a toll on the caregiver. So this service allow the caregiver to at least have a few nights of good sleep. All right, and these are the websites that you can go to yeah, you can read up. There are many resources and also some support group where you can find this website. All right, yeah, I'm done, yeah, with sharing with you all. Yeah, so we have some time left. If there is any questions, we can also ask. How do I apply? Okay, good question. Yeah, so we go by means test. Yeah, so every household, right, will be means tested by the Ministry of Health lah. So so it depends on the total household income divided by the number of people in the household. That means living under the same roof. Yeah, so then we'll be charged according to the means test. Yeah, in the event if really the frequency is a lot and it's really quite heavy financially, then we can also ask for help from the MSW, the medical social worker. So in this case, the MSW will like sort of interview the family. So wanting to know the financial situation, the total household income and the expenses. Is there some reason that why it is like challenging for the household to pay for the bill? Yeah, so then we need to provide documents to substantiate our difficulty lah. Yeah. Then you see this fine print here, right? So if we are interested in such services, we can give a call to AIC to find out how to apply. Yeah, if you happen to be in a hospital, there is AIC link center in most restructured hospital. So can just walk into the center, AIC center, link center, and just make inquiry. If not, yeah, can just Google for AIC contact number, yeah, and call. If your loved one happens to be in hospital, then there are MSW in the hospital as well lah. Yeah, so can ask to be linked up with the MSW. Any more questions? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's show our appreciation for Winnie. So I hope that today, with all the talks, all the things you learned and the resources, I think one of the things really is to reflect, first of all, yourself as a caregiver to someone, or you know someone who's a caregiver and needing support. So I thought the last slide was very good when how the church can support a caregiver among your midst. Some of them may not even voice out for what you know, but sometimes a good question would be asked, how are you and how can we support you, right? So that really go a long way to support the caregiver itself.